welcome to Hack the Real Size podcast with Heather, Ashley, and myself, Keira, where we like to dive into the personal journeys of people from the entertainment industry with a little bit of cheeky banter. And we have dragged on the wonderful, right, okay, ready, guys? Ossian Perret. Yes, such a posh sounding name. Can we just call you Osh from now on?
that literally, I think that's what my
that's what your
Zoom
name says on
is.
here.
And I keep forgetting, like, if I have a Zoom audition or something, I keep forgetting to change it because they're like, you should have your full name on Zoom, so that's like your name. And I'm just like Osh, and I'm like, oh shit! Every time I'm like, oh, I forgot to change it.
They can't pronounce it anyway. It's okay. You're doing them a favor. Absolutely doing them a favor. Otherwise, they'd just be like, "Yes, can you
Oh, can you do it?
So you're just helping people like myself who suck at pronunciation, okay? So you're great. Anyway, so Osh is a French-born actor, would you believe, who's based in London. So he's best known for The Witcher, the BBC comedy, The First Team, which apparently is very in-betweener-esque and done by the same writer, so I'm definitely going to be looking at that later. And of course, we know him best as Whitgar from The Last Kingdom, the one who killed Bianca. So I'm gonna get too upset about this, okay? I'm just gonna...
We can talk about that. About that.
I think my therapist has heard enough, actually, but...
Because I have my point of view on that whole situation.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it then.
Okay, you try and
we'll get there.
dig yourself out of that hole. See how that goes.
Yeah.
It's like, who was it? It was Harry McIntyre basically defending his killing of Ragnar. That, like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We were like, just stop. He's like, no, it made sense. And we were like,
And Magnus Brune will not take responsibility for that either. He's like, I didn't put the knife in him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so anyway, we'll move on to that later. But thank you so much for joining us today. So the way it works is I will start with just some icebreaker questions just so we get to know you a little bit better, because obviously people know you as your character and we want to know you as you. So just ask some ridiculous questions just to loosen you up a little bit, and then I'll pass you along to, don't be too scared, it's fine. Then I will pass you along to Ashley, who will just discuss a little bit about your early career and how you got where you were, and then Heather will ask you a bit more specific questions about time on set and things like that.
Sweet.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's take it away.
Good. So I sometimes feel that this question really ages us three, but who was on your bedroom wall when you were growing up?
Not wall, but I had like a glass windowed door to my bedroom, so everyone could see through. So I put a poster on the window.
Nice.
And it was Zac Efron.
That's a good one.
Was it like High School Musical Zac Efron or
17 again, Zac? You know when he has that, it's the white t-shirt when he's got his hand like through the t-shirt.
Oh yes.
That one. It was one of those like huge posters as well.
I fully approve that image. That's good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I might spend some time on Google later with that image. Thanks for that.
Just make sure we know what you're talking about, you know.
Research.
Otherwise, like on the walls, I had like Lord of the Rings posters. I had those up on the walls.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Early
career aspirations.
Oh yeah.
Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. But otherwise, like it was Zac.
I dig it. What has been your favorite item that you've purchased in the last 12 months?
Oh my god. Okay. That is favorite, not like what I've got the most use out of. So that's that is a good question. Probably like a pair of climbing shoes. Like a new pair of climbing shoes, I guess.
Oh, what sort of climbing do you do?
Like rock climbing, mostly indoor stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite. Those are definitely what I got the most use out of. I don't know if they're my favorite. I'm trying to think. I haven't actually bought that much in the last. Oh, no. Well, I bought some like that. I went into the charity shop and I like doing photography and stuff. And people on when I'm looking at like lens recommendations on YouTube and stuff, people are always saying like, oh, if you can find vintage lenses in charity shops, just get them because they're super cheap usually, and you can find really nice lenses. And this never happens. I go into I just walk through and go into charity shops all the time. I love charity shops, and I found 2 vintage lenses in this charity shop just down the road, and I was like, and I was like, I didn't care what they were. I was just like, I'm getting them. And so actually, maybe those. Oh my God, no! But okay, it's all charity shop things now. I'm just remembering.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's like a rabbit hole. Oof.
I'm loving it. We're finding out so much about you just from what you purchased.
I started with like the most basic.
Right.
The climbing shoes definitely get the most use, but like, I found like, I've always been into like super skinny jeans, and now I'm branching off into like wider legged,
like boot cut or whatever.
Kind of like, yeah, like a straight cut kind of, but like just a little wider, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I found some really cool, like, oh, I love those the most. Yeah, they're these like white cords. They're like a cream corduroy, and they're like, usually I was all into like having kind of longer trousers that like bunch at the bottom, and now these are like a 26-inch length, so they kind of. So I wear those all the time. I need to wash them. I wear them all the time. They're amazing.
So you can tell you do not have kids or a dog or a cat when you're wearing cream cords around.
Yeah.
That is a brave choice.
They're always covered in chocolate.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Like this is light as well. I have like another cream hoodie, and that's like, I just washed it. I was gonna wear it, but it's like chocolate.
You would have fit right in. You would have been fine.
Yeah.
You can't see lower down, but I'm pretty sure there's something on here. Don't worry about it. It's fine. That's brilliant, but you are far too fashionable to be part of our crew, okay? Far too fashionable.
I disagree.
So I think, for some reason, I feel that you're going to have a strong opinion on this one. What is your favorite mythical creature? I feel that you know your mythical creatures.
He's like, I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's like,
I don't know how many I know. I know like a Pegasus, a unicorn, a griffin.
Griffin.
And those are like literally the 3 that I know.
I guess are dragons mythical?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Are they mythical?
No, that's dinosaurs, darling, you're thinking of.
No, I'm thinking dragons too.
Okay.
Dragons are historical.
They could be. They could. We just maybe
they could be. We just don't know. Yeah. Maybe. Oh shit.
Sirens.
Maybe like.
Sirens.
Maybe like. Oh, I guess krakens are mythical as well, but they're kind of like freaky. I wouldn't say they're my favorite. I'm gonna go with griffin.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If I had like a whole list in front of me, I'd be able to be like, you know, and like
it's just so many.
This one, but like off the top of my head, I feel like it has to be griffin. Yeah, because what is it? Bird, lion, mane, wings, lion. Is it lion body? Something like that.
I think it's like a bird type head with wings, but it's a mammal.
I know my favorite. Oh yeah. What are they? Centaur. That's it.
Oh, horseman.
Yeah,
that's a
centaur. Has to be.
Yeah, there you go.
Has to be.
Badass.
Sagittarius.
How did we forget that one? Gosh.
With the arrow, bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Stupid ass.
So centaur. I'm glad I took some time to like think a little extra, because I think listening back, if I'd been like, I settled for griffin, I'd have been like, I should have thought more.
Like, come on, Ossian, you're letting yourself down.
So yes, centaur. There we go.
Okay.
Because also in Harry Potter, what a great character. Firenze.
Which was that?
You know when he goes, Harry wanders. It's like one of the first films. That's I think it's the second film. Yeah. They wander into the forest because they have to do like forbidden forest duty, and Voldemort appears, and I shouldn't say his name, but anyway, Voldemort appears, and Firenze the centaur basically saves Harry and Malfoy from.
I did not know his name. That was.
I think it's Firenze.
Okay, it's been a while.
That's a super fan kind of thing.
Yeah.
My flatmate would definitely know. Andy,
No, come in the podcast.
is it Ferenz?
Important question for you.
I love
No, the
this.
centaur.
For hard-hitting
The
questions
centaur in
over
Harry
here.
Potter. It's Ferenz, right? I have
There we go.
confirmation. He knows.
Okay.
Well done. Well done, Andy.
We can
No,
all
I
sleep
don't think-
tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're brilliant. If you were a cocktail, what kind of cocktail would you be? Do you know what you'd have in it? Would you be spicy? Would you be flaming? Oh, Porn Star Martini.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or maybe like a Negroni.
What's a porn talk?
Porn
What's
Star
a porn-
Martini.
Yeah, what is that?
It's a martini, which is basically passion fruit, isn't it? Passion fruit flavor, and then you have a shot of
Yeah.
prosecco next to it.
Do we have that? Like, I feel like we need to have a list of things that we have to do when we go to the UK. Heather,
Yeah,
like,
that can be one of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
I seriously, when I was on a cruise in November, there was a drink that sounds very
Uh-huh.
similar to that. And I would literally go up to the bar and be like, can I get 3? And I would like just and
Yeah.
walk away with, because they were good and you just like down them so
Oh,
quickly.
you know what they taste like? Did you guys have Solero ice creams? It was like passion fruit with like kind of vanilla, or like it's called, I think the flavor is Fior di Latte. It's not vanilla, it's like just like milk flavor.
mhm.
And it's so Porn Star Martinis or passion fruit martinis always reminded me of that, just
Mm.
without like in alcohol form. And they were, that's why they're so easy to drink, because it's just like
Good.
childhood ice cream drink.
Shot, drink,
But,
shot,
yeah.
drink.
Yeah.
That's my
Otherwise,
kombucha, it's passion fruit.
Oh,
There you
There
go.
you go.
Actually
You just need a
good.
shot of prosecco now, babes.
also, what a fruit! Like, just what a fruit! What a sensational fruit!
Oh, so good.
It's like
You
you
ever had a
think
fresh one? Like have you ever had a fresh passion fruit?
They're
what
so
where the shell
sweet.
the shell is always a little bit, it has a little shell on it, right? It's always a little hard. No?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's like the seeds. It's like the seeds.
Oh, it has the seeds in it. Yeah, yeah. You cut it in half and you go with a little spoon.
Mhm.
Oh my! It's like, oh, what a flavor! Yeah.
It's good.
Okay,
I
cool.
clearly have never eaten a passion fruit like just by itself, so I'm missing out.
The seeds are very crunchy
Definitely.
though.
Mm-hmm. But
They
it's,
are, but it's so nice.
yeah.
Not like, but they don't like taste.
Is
They
it like
don't
a
taste bad. They don't
pomegranate,
even
like
taste
the
it.
seeds like that?
No, pomegranate's like bitter, more bitter, isn't it? The actual seed bit. Like you've got the nice pink flesh around a pomegranate, but no, passion fruit is, the seeds are quite crunchy, but they're quite tart, aren't they? And then the flesh around it is really, really tart.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never had an oyster, but it feels like the fruit equivalent of an oyster,
Mhm.
kind
my
of. I don't know. I feel like oysters are like big bogeys
like
in my mind.
ass.
I have.
They
I've
do
never-
not. They're amazing.
No, I think because the passion fruit seeds have like that gelatinous like covering.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying now.
That's what. Not in flavor. Not in flavor.
I'm gonna eat
I
some
wouldn't be so,
oyster
like-
passion fruit.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, what do I have to edit out of this conversation? We've talked a long time about passion fruit.
Oh no, this is gonna be like a little mini series. Like, get your knowledge about passion fruit here.
Your 1-2 hour episode.
I love it.
She's gonna be the new spokesperson for passion fruit. This is fun.
Yes. Yes.
There's gonna be a new alcoholic martini brand come out, and he's gonna be like,
Yeah.
Okay, we want to find us fee on that shit, okay?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
And freebies. What is the best advice you've ever been given?
Oh, oh man, that's a good one. I think probably one of the most recent best advice I heard was something like, "What is meant for you won't go by you," something like that. Like,
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
because it's easy to see a lot of shows and films coming out and stuff and be like, oh, why didn't I get to tape or audition for that, or why didn't I get to? And part of me is like, and so I guess good advice I was given on that topic was, what is for you won't go by you. And my agent says that all the time as well. He's like, it's like, if it's for you, it's for you,
Right.
And yeah, maybe that's
That's a
the
really
best
good one, though.
advice
It's a
ever.
good one. especially in this industry when you're constantly comparing yourself to every other white male and your similar age who's also in the industry and they're getting the same jobs that you go for and things like that. And it's incredibly easy to start looking at other people. And I think our last guest we interviewed the other day, she was saying that she's so sick of seeing everyone's Instagram and they're like #booked again, and she's thinking, no, you haven't. Why are you making everyone else feel like shit because you think, you know, because your Instagram needs to show that you're booking constantly, but that's not the normal life of an actor. The normal life as an actor is like 80% not working, 20% working. So it's really hard to stop comparing yourself to other people. So it's a really good piece of advice.
Yeah, Instagram is funny for that as well, because it's like, it feels like there's two schools of thought on Instagram. One of them being, this is my life, I'm going to tell you everything, all the shit. Like Florence Pugh is really good at that. She just like, I mean, she's I don't know if she's like the most open, but she's super like open about what she does, and she doesn't care about like, you know, just showing her as she is, you know. And I think the other school is like using it as like a almost like a not like a CV, but kind of in a way, you know, like
a brand,
treating it as like my best moments, like your highlight reel, you know, this super cool photo, this holiday, this, whereas really all the days in between you might just be like, oh, what am I doing with my life, you know? Like it feels like there's two kind of, I feel like I swing a bit in between the two and I'm never sure where to like sometimes I'm like, this is my life, look at what I'm up to, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then the other times I'm like, this is a cool photo. So it feels like I don't know, I think they're both interesting and both
definitely
have like a validity, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. And it depends on, I guess, what you're using your Instagram for. If it's the brand that you want the casting agents to look at, if it sits within your brand to be completely open and honest and, you know, satirical about the world, then that's the brand that you should have on your Instagram. Because if that's you, that's you. If you want to look much more polished and much more a certain way, then I guess your Instagram brand has to reflect that as well.
Completely, because it is that. It's like branding, and it's and that's one of the weird, I'm sure we'll, I don't know, talk about this at some point later, but one of the weirdest things is like, as an actor, you have to think of yourself as a brand in a way, and like you
where
are
you
a
fit
product
in the industry.
It's one of the hardest things to like shift your mentality towards is I'm you know, and I like something, you know, that represents something, and
Okay, we're getting way too deep and meaningful from my section. I'm used to the fluffy and light stuff. I shouldn't have brought it down. I apologize. Let me take it fantasy again. Let's go again. So we've got two questions we really like to ask all of our especially clients then, all of our guests. The first one being, if you could remake any film using just the cast of the Muppets and one token human actor, which film would it be and who would you have as the actor?
Either like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's good.
That
one.
would be
Good
incredible.
One. Who would you have as the main actor in Star Wars then?
Let's take I'm gonna pick one Star Wars film just so, because the leads are different in each one, I guess. Let's take A New Hope then. Was that the original? It was, wasn't it? Because it went 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Let's take A New Hope. So we're replacing Luke. So we're replacing Mark Hamill, and he has to.
Can Miss Piggy be Darth Vader, but like pink?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Pink Darth Vader.
Oh, that's funny.
We have, because Chewie's in now, we have Chewie as animal as well, which is great.
Oh, nice.
We have but who would the main one token human as Luke that isn't the guy, that isn't Mark who played Luke?
You can keep Mark Hamill, it's fine. I mean,
we can keep
Kermit
Mark
would make
Hamill
a very
with
good Yoda.
Yeah.
Kermit would make a very good Yoda, although I would love to see Kermit as Palpatine, not the Emperor.
Emperor, yes. I was just thinking that because of his nose sticking out the hood.
Yeah,
That'd be good.
Because I swear there's like a meme or something.
There is like a
Kermit the
meme
Frog.
where he's like tossing.
Yes.
That would
Or
be great.
Beaker, because he's got a similar sort of nose, hasn't he?
Yeah. Whenever I speak to my sister a lot, my middle sister, and I'm always like, because we're closer in age than my youngest sibling, and whenever I'm like, oh, should I get this? I'm like, I don't know if I should get it, and she's like, do it. she sends the Kermit the Frog. She's so like, do it.
Oh, that's going to be a new thing we're going to do on the group chat, girls. You know that, right? That's what's going to happen.
It's such a good meme.
I love it. And the other question that we always ask is, realistically, how long do you think you'd survive in a zombie apocalypse? Do you have any skills you're bringing to the table?
I would last until the end of my time.
Ooh,
I feel like everybody laughs.
Yeah,
To the end of the time.
no doubt. Look at the poster I have on my wall. The Last of Us. It's like the ultimate kind of post-apocalyptic, I guess. There's like a huge virus that breaks out. There's a worldwide pandemic. They're not zombies, they're called infected, but it's kind of the same type of monster.
Yeah.
So you're ready. Have you got skills?
Oh, I'm ready. I've played like the first and second game. I have more posters. I have two other in the second game there. So like I feel like I'm ready, and my trusty flatmate Andrew has also played the games, and we've discussed this. Having played the games, you discuss like how long would we last, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you're basing your outlasting of most of human civilization in a zombie apocalypse based on a computer game.
Oh yeah, because also, well, you have to think like we're in the top floor of a block of flats. So already as a starting point, that's pretty good.
Okay, so now we're talking tactics. That's fine.
Okay,
we're talking tactics. I'll go quick. We don't have many rations, but I think we could do supermarket trips relatively easy. You know, we've got the kitchen knives and stuff like that, and we have rope as well because climbing. So getting in and out from the flat, we can go through the back. You don't have to use main entrances. There's options here. And then my girlfriend asked me the same question. She was like, how long do you think we would last in zombie apocalypse? And I was like, I said, where would you go? And she was like, what's that shopping center? Where? It's Westfield. She was like, I'd go Westfield because you can like survey the whole perimeter. It's like loads of stairs and stuff. And interestingly, I think that's a really good idea because in the second Last of Us, you are halfway through the game, you discover that there's another civilization, and they have, pardon me, they have set up camp in a football stadium, and it's incredible because the design of this game is just phenomenal because they've basically set up housing along the stands of the stadium, so it looks like I guess it kind of looks like the favelas in Sao Paulo in Brazil, and it's phenomenal. So I think Westfield would be good, you know. But
you've thought about it. I'm liking it. I'm into this now. Yeah, I'm good.
A long time.
Cool. You can be on our team. Congratulations, you passed.
Thank you.
We will come find you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for entertaining us with your amazing answers. I feel like actually we know you incredibly well now.
Cool.
I will pass you on to Ashley for the more sort of cerebral part of our interview.
Okay, cool.
Well, I start off all the time about where you are from and where you grew up.
So I was born in Chartres in France, just a little town. It is southwest. I think it is southwest. It just as hardly south of Paris, basically, like an hour south. And it's a little town. I think the population is like maybe like 30,000-ish, 40,000. Not big, but we have a beautiful cathedral there. It's known for like La Cathédrale de Chartres, which is like people go there to see that. What what else? I grew up.
Or
Where
is
did I
this
grow up?
where you're from and like where you grew up at? What you're
Yeah.
answering?
Oh, yeah. I am. So yeah, born in France, and then I moved. My dad started working in Switzerland, and so he was like coming home on weekends and stuff. So we eventually, when I was like 5 years old, we ended up moving to Bern in Switzerland, and we also moved because like when I was like 4.5, 5-ish, I was diagnosed and like developed this thing called Perthes disease, which is like a hip disformation, basically, where the femur of your hip bone doesn't fully grow, and so there's like space in the joint, so you kind of you limp, and there's like it clunks kind of. And so we went to see a bunch of doctors in France to like see what we were gonna do, and they were like, oh, surgery, you have to do surgery, you have to carve down the bone, blah 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 blah. And my parents were like, and like, because my dad was working in Switzerland anyway, we were like, okay, let's go see what they think over there. And the doctor was like, no, you can do it without surgery because I'm still young. You can just we can fix it, basically. So we ended up moving there, and I had like from like 5 to maybe 8, I think 8, yeah. I had like various leg braces, and I have a photo at home, but like the first one, if I remember, I don't know if I remember the first one. I remember 2 of them. One of them was like a wooden block that I had like nailed into like a special shoe on the wooden block to raise my leg, so it was the same level as my other hip. And that went like, I had like a pole down my leg, and I had like a straight leg, and kind of like Forrest Gump. And and then the second brace I had was like, it kind of held me in like a snowboarding position. I had like 2 braces across my legs, and I had like a bar across. Anyway, that went, that was 3 years, and then after that I was all good. And it's all good now, and yeah. Anyway,
no, that's okay. So you moved to Switzerland. So how did you get into acting?
Moved to Switzerland, and then I got into acting so I went to the International School of Bern, and I guess I kind of always loved I was always just goofing around and like clowning about and just performing, just being kind of the entertainer. I loved it. And I guess I grew up watching, when I was really young, I grew up watching like Singing in the Rain, and my dad, we watched Charlie Chaplin together, like all of the Charlie Chaplins. I fucking loved Laurel and Hardy. Like, all that like kind of slapstick, black and white comedy, and like there's a photo of me when I'm like probably only like 6 or something, where I'm like, doing the Stan Laurel. Yeah, I didn't mean to, Hardy. And so yeah, that, and so I guess eventually I started doing like performances and stuff, and theater shows, and the first thing I did was like, I think it was A Christmas Carol, and I played Scrooge. And I think it was because I still had my leg brace, the snowboard one, and so I came on with like the sack of toys. I just remember like coming on in the sack of toys at the end with my leg brace, and like playing Uncle Scrooge. And so that was the first thing, and then I was really lucky that it kind of didn't really interest me in middle school doing plays and stuff. Like I think I did 12th Night, but like I liked the girl who was playing viola, so I like forgot my lines, and like during live performance, I was like looking at her doing the scene, and then suddenly I just went, like terrible. Like kind of acting just felt like a fun joke, And even in high school as well, like I was really lucky. We had an incredible my theater teacher was incredible, but we didn't have theater as an option or drama as an option in high school, because we did this thing called the IB diploma. It's like the international baccalaureate and whatever, but my school didn't offer drama. So I finished that in like 10th grade, but the shows I did, I was still able to do in like 11th grade. And that was thanks to the drama teacher. Her name is Amy Smearsall, and she was amazing. And she like was so passionate about it, and like, and she started. I remember the first play we put on was Arsenic. No, it was The Importance of Being Earnest, which is hysterical. And I played Algie Moncrief, and we did that at like a theater in Bern. And that was the first time I kind of like, because I was like encouraging all my friends. I was like, hey, just let's do this. And I can't remember why I really wanted everyone to join in and stuff. Maybe it was just to like have something fun to do all together, like after school. And like, I love just hanging out with people after school. Like I just wouldn't go home until like 9 p.m. because we'd be like, I don't know, rearranging the student lounge or something like that. Like I just, and then we did Arsenic and Old Lace, which was based on it was a Cary Grant film from like I'm not going to say what era it was because I can't remember exactly, like maybe the 50s, I think.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And I guess that was the first time, because she was like, she didn't want me to play the main part. She didn't want me to play Cary Grant's part. She wanted me to play like the weird brother. He has like a weird, creepy brother. And I was like, no, I want to play Mortimer. He has all the stage time, and he has some of the best comedy moments, you know, and Cary Grant nails that film. It was so funny. And so I was like, no, I want to go up for Mortimer. And I did this like phone call scene where he's like on the phone, and so I think that was probably the moment where I was like,
you really enjoyed it.
I really enjoy this, and like enough to the point where like I want more stage time. And and from there it kind of
made you want to fight for a part and get more interested in it. So did you go to university or any kind of schooling after it to pursue it a little bit more?
I did. Like at the end of high school, everyone's deciding what they want to study and stuff, and I was like, I was like, should I do like go study law or something, or go study, I don't know, be a paramedic? I don't know. Like, it doesn't occur to me that you could go study acting, like, because the school I went to is very kind of much more science orientated, especially in the later years. Like, and it wasn't until I can't remember how I found out that you could go to like drama school and stuff. Oh, I do remember. Yeah. I went to RCS, the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, to do a filmmaking course because I wanted to be a director and I wanted to make films. I loved making movies and stuff. And so I went and did like a 2-week short course where you do pre-production, production, post-production. You like cast, you do castings, and you budget, and you shoot the whole film, and then you edit it and stuff. And I think I realized that like while I was there, there was like maybe 3 or 4 people on the directing course, but there was like 20 people in the acting course. And I was staying in the halls with the other actors, and we were like mostly on the same floor. And I hung out with them most of the time, actually, when we weren't doing the workshops. And I loved them. Like, it was just so much fun. And part of me was like, like this is my crew. This is where I should be. And so that's when I realized that like, oh, you can study acting stuff as well. And so I applied. That was the first year I applied. That was the only drama school I applied to. You know, I was like, I'm gonna get in. I'm great.
Everybody is when they first start. I'm amazing, and then you're like, okay.
I think that's what I listened to Magnus's episode, and that's what he was saying. Like, when you start at school, you're the good actor with like all your friends who aren't interested in acting, and then once you go to acting school, you realize everyone wants to act, and it's like, so I auditioned. I did my first round. I didn't get in, but then I was like, part of me was like, it's a lot to fly out every time to go do an audition. So I did a couple like Zoom, like not Zoom wasn't a thing, Skype auditions for foundation courses, just so that I could be in the country
Yes.
while I was applying to 3-year like drama schools.
Mm-hmm.
And also just to see if it was actually something I wanted to do for a living, and rather than committing to like 3 years, I figured a year would be a good taster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so the foundation at Guildford School of Acting is phenomenal. Like when I was there, it was like it's its own course. You don't share like tutors with the main 3-year course. You have your own tutors, which is really nice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I was there, and then I was able to audition, and I got into Drama Centre London, and yeah, that was amazing.
And then from there, you got your agent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because you do showcases at the end of 3rd year, which is so helpful, is a huge thing. And I think like I feel so bad for anyone who was at drama school during COVID, because not only were most of the classes on Zoom, but also like I don't even know if that year got a proper showcase and stuff, like so that was complicated. But we didn't sign immediately. We like spoke for like 3 months.
Yeah.
It's kind of like floating. You're like, yes. And then I signed with him, and then we kind of kicked things off
from there.
Yeah.
So after signing with your agent, how did like your first auditions go? You talked about your 3 main shows that you've been on. You want to talk about?
Sorry, I didn't catch the end of that.
That's okay. So do you want to talk about any of the auditions that you did?
Oh, I can talk.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I think they were really hit and miss. I think I didn't. Some of them I remember going incredibly well. I think Selftapes I always loved. Selftapes, I loved being in control of. Like I still love filming stuff, and Selftapes was amazing because you're in control of the camera, and you can like it's just you're just there, and it's super comfortable, and you're just reading with a friend. And I think the first few auditions I was definitely pretty nervous, and I realized that like being so nervous for the first few, and also like they throw you into like big casting offices for the first few to see how you do. I'm pretty sure I just flopped. But like it mainly because I think I didn't expect the nerves to get to me. And I should have learned the scenes a bit better, because I just should have learned the lines better, because when you get there and nerves hit, they just go out the window. And I was like, oh my God. And when that starts happening, you just, but actually what is interesting is I think it varies by casting director, but I think some casting directors don't mind if you have script in hand. Some casting directors, like, it doesn't bother them. And then some casting directors want you to know the lines as well. But my approach now is just know your fucking lines, and like just go and know everything you want to do, like so you have no regrets when you leave. Because but
you kind to I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was kind of done, I think.
I was going to ask you kind of approach your self-tapes, because this is, I feel like, I've been a question, ladies, that we've kind of either asked or talked about lately. Do you approach your self-tapes kind of like you approach your live auditions? Like, are you kind of like a 1-2 take on a self-tape because you're super prepared by the time, or do you like to kind of like breathe into the self-tapes and do 500 takes like I'd like to do?
I've tried both. And I think what I realized is when you do more than when you do more than 3 takes per scene, picking them just becomes tedious. Like already doing 5 tapes for one scene, you're just like, oh my God, okay. And you're watching them, and then you're watching, like, I do this terrible thing sometimes where I'm like, I'll watch the first 10 seconds, and then I'll watch the first 10 seconds of the next clip, and then I'll watch the first, and I do that methodically through each clip, and I go, okay, this one had the strongest first 10 seconds, and then I go, okay, the next 10 seconds, the next 10 seconds, the next 10 seconds, and I go, but this one had the strongest second 10 seconds, and I kind of judge based on like, but like, so basically, if you have done more than 5 takes, for me, the process is just, of picking them is just, so long.
Yeah.
Sometimes you sometimes you just know, like sometimes you watch them and you just go, oh, it's that one, no doubt, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do a tape and you're just like, you do one take and you're like, no, that went great, I'm happy with that, you know. And but I think my general aim is to do max 3 takes per scene, and to just like, yeah, prep it like I'm gonna go shoot it, you know. Like that's what's interesting is about my performance in season 4 is I feel like it hardly changed from the audition. Like I felt like when I read those lines, when I read those words the first time, like obviously the lines changed a bit in editing and stuff from audition script to shooting script, but like not much. But like when I read those lines, like I thought of everything. Like I knew exactly how I felt about them, and like I put so much effort into that audition. Like when I got the tape through for Last Kingdom, I was like, this is me, this is my time. And also like loving Lord of the Rings, I love medieval stuff, and me and my dad as well. Like we always love visiting. My mum's from Northumberland, so we love visiting Alnwick Castle, and I remember like buying wooden swords, and me and my dad would like do like sword fight routines in the courtyard and stuff, and so like when the Last Kingdom audition came through, I was like, mine.
This is for me.
And then so when I went in, I felt so confident, you know, just having like done all this work, and I remember I got there and it was with Alex Irwin, who is the Kelly Valentine Henry office, and the camera was like low and it was like in front of a chair, and I was like, ooh, do you think we could maybe like remove the chair and like put the camera up, because I'd like imagine it standing, and the scene is standing and it carries that energy, you know. And so like I was like in the zone. I was like, this is me. I feel like I've wandered.
No, it's okay. You were talking about the audition, which I was going to kind of ask you how your Last Kingdom audition went. So you went in there, you were fully prepared. You're like, this is my character. And you rocked that audition. You want to talk about your character at all for some people that maybe don't know about it? And just like you said, that you had some thoughts on your character's like choices in the show.
Oh my God. Well, firstly, I knew I didn't get given any other script I got for the audition. It was actually the scene where I accidentally killed Bayaka. And so I didn't have like masses to go off other than the fact that I was Aelfric's son. And so I went and like, I hadn't seen the show before, and I went and watched everything up until I watched all of seasons 1, 2, and 3. And I watched Joe Milson's scenes like quite a few times, and I was like, I think for the audition, definitely I was trying to capture a bit of his energy and his like stillness, and he's blunt, and he's tactical with his words. He like chooses his words really nicely, and I really admired that about Matthew McFadden. I think that's how you say his name. Matthew McFadden's performance in season 1 is, I love the kind of precision he had with his words, and everything was chosen meticulously. And I think that was something I wanted to bring to Woodgar, sort of growing up around Aelfric, and having that kind of learning that words are important and words are weapons in a sense, you know. And so I think when I did the audition, and I definitely tried to bring that into the performance as well, as I wanted Woodgar to be choosing his words specifically, especially when he's like and it's down to like good writing as well. Like that's what I got from the writing, is that he chooses words to describe Uhtred in, I can't remember exactly what the lines are, but it's been a long time since season 4. but like the way he goes Uhtred Ragnarsson, you know, and he pings out the fact that you're a Dane, you know. It's like there's all these little hints that he is specific and he likes to like that and stuff. And I don't know what else we should.
No. So we're talking about the character, but earlier you mentioned, I think before we started recording, that you basically want to defend your character and his choices.
Yeah.
And so to have that, I'm going to pass you on to Heather, because I don't know if I can handle this question without getting upset.
Okay. Yeah. No.
She's
I don't know how I'm going to ask this. Okay, defend yourself, because I mean, it's Father Bjaka.
I know.
Yeah.
I literally in that moment, I like yelled, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Like I was so annoyed, and I do not like you, your character. Like
it's okay.
Which means you did your job right.
Your uncle, I was like, yes, and then I was like, the heck.
But like that whole scene, I'm like, Uhtred, I'm gonna kill your son. Your son is the one I want. I'm gonna kill your son, little Uhtred, and then I'm gonna kill you. And so actually, it's really all Beocca's fault. I mean, it's not his fault. Obviously, it was a beautiful sacrifice, and like, and everyone loves him for that. But really,
the dead guy. Yeah, I see.
Well, it's insane. He goes like this. He goes, and literally like jumps in front of the arrow. I'm obviously aiming for young Uhtred. I'm coming for Uhtred's lion, and so and even if you watch it back, even after it goes boom, slow-mo, death, and then there's some commotion, and then I'm like, fuck. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, but you like, oops, sorry about that, guys. You're not. You're just angry you didn't kill Uhtred.
Yeah, exactly. I'm annoyed I hit the priest.
Yeah, so you're not sad you killed Bjaka. You come back out of that
one. No, well, I'm not sad, but I don't care.
An arrow, damn it.
In fact, the Beocca jumping is a nuisance.
Yes, I'm gonna say,
he failed my plan.
I feel that
in your defense, you probably didn't think he could move that quickly. You're like, oh, there's no way he could get over there. And then he
was fast. But if he knew, he probably would have jumped just a little early. But that's my defense. It was
he was an annoyance. He was an annoyance to what you wanted to do. That's your defense. I'm gonna try to use that in live somehow.
But when everyone's like, oh, Whitgar killed Beocca, I'm like, well, Beocca killed himself by jumping in front of my arrow, which was intended for young Uhtred.
I have a question. Were you happy that you killed Beocca? Were you happy for your character? Were you like, ooh, I like this? Or were you like, oh shit?
Yes, I think at first I was like, oh fuck. And I was like aware that people wouldn't be happy about that. But then as Whitgar, I was like, I just had to forget about it.
Honestly,
I acknowledged it though.
Did your son just move over slightly? It's my question.
Right?
Like,
but
why was
Richard's son was like,
no.
he was deer in the headlights. It was his deer in the headlights moment. He just was like frozen. He was so like that he wouldn't have moved, and he'd have just been.
I guess character, you've got a character, it's fun to be polarizing. So even if people absolutely hate you for killing Bjaka, it's a great character to play, isn't it?
Love to hate.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
So how would you describe your audition process for The Witcher, since you talked a little bit about TLK? Did you know it was for The Witcher, or was it, because sometimes you get like fake scripts or they don't tell you what the show is for?
I did. I think it said Witcher. And because I do remember, because my agent sent me this tape through. He's like, I have a tape through for The Witcher, by the way. I'll send it across briefly. And I was like, oh, because I have played the games. So I kind of knew what the world was, and I was like, oh my god, yes. Okay. I wish my character was bigger. Like, I would have been fun to be in it more, but like, I'm also just super happy to be a part of it, you know. It's easy to be like, oh man, if I hadn't been in season 1, maybe I could have been a bigger part in season 2, but
yeah,
I was super stoked to be a part of it anyway. And also that was my first time stepping onto like a big medieval fantasy set, and I was just like, oh my god, this is my absolute dream, this is so cool.
yeah.
And yeah, just seeing like, you see incredible things, like, because it's so cool because everyone's in like medieval armor and stuff, but you see such funny things like soldiers just taking like cigarette breaks outside, and like soldiers like napping on top of each other just in the green room and stuff, and like it's a really cool kind of like world to step into. And I spoke with the arms master as well, because I love like swords and stuff, and he was like showing me how they're made and what they're made of and stuff, and that was cool. But the audition process for that was with Sophie Holland and Faye Timby and Finian Tweed. I think Faye Timby, who was Sophie's assistant, came to our showcase actually. And I think she'd seen me basically from my drama school showcase. I did one scene which was half in French, half in English. And so my partner who I was doing the scene with didn't speak French, but we, you know, if she just responds in English to me speaking French, we get the idea that she understands. Anyway, so she saw me do that, and then she was like, oh, so I came in to do the audition for Witcher, and she was like, could you try it with a French accent? And I was like, okay, cool. So we tried it with a French accent, and she was like, yes. And then I came back for like a second audition, like a recall, and we just worked the scene a little bit more, and she was like, yes. And then I went to film it, and the French accent stayed because I thought kind of fun. And also in the Witcher world, you can have accents from everywhere, and I think it's kind of nice that way. And because in that episode you don't, well, you do actually. Anyway, I was gonna say in that episode you don't hear anyone else from Sintra speak, but you do. But like, it was just nice to have like different accents throughout and everyone in the series kind of has a different accent, which is really nice. So
I think they need to add an accent from the South, because I've not heard that accent yet. So
true.
just saying.
An American Southern person needs to be added in there.
It's like a total wild card.
Yeah.
Season 3.
Season 3. Yeah, season 3. Yeah.
Transported. It's like, what the hell's going on here? What are you?
You're from like some really like southern land that's just like now coming in the mix. Like the elves or something brought you back to like
Hellfire.
Sorry. South are you from?
I'm originally from well, I don't know how well you know the States. I live like outside of Atlanta, Georgia right now, but originally I'm from like Tennessee, like East Tennessee, like mountain Tennessee.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
The mountains.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
See, they could have some mountain elves.
Yeah, you could totally be an elf. I could see you as an elf.
Pointy ears,
Completely.
Right? So you said when you went on to the Witcher set, it was the first time you'd been on like a set of that magnitude. How did you deal with the nerves? Because I could imagine just the excitement and the nerves probably had you just.
It was, funnily enough, it was because we got there like a day early to do a rehearsal, because the scene in episode 4 is so big and there's so much dialogue in that whole scene. Alex, I think. Oh God, I can't remember the director's name. I think it was Alex. Oh God, it's been a while. I think it was Alex. He had us all there to rehearse and stuff and go over the lines, and that was more nerve-wracking than filming on the actual day, like because that was the first time we were like, oh, doing the scene together and stuff. But luckily, me and my Blair Kincaid, who plays Krach, who's, oh my God, we still he's just moved to Canada, but we hang out. We've been in touch since we shot Witcher. We were staying in rooms next to each other in the hotel we were staying at. So we hung out all the time, like before filming, after filming, like before. And so what was amazing actually is it was his idea. He was like, hey, do you guys, me, him, and Dom, who's the MILF Guardian guy who comes along. You know, my potent seed, that guy. We ripped into him so much for that line. It's so funny. But we all got round his like little coffee table in his apartment room, and we just went over the scene a few times, and like that was amazing, just to actually like hear each other say it before going to rehearse or going to shoot was like, it's like we've done it now. Like we know kind of how it alleviates all nerves, and you can just kind of run with it and say, ooh, let's try this, let's try that. Also, it helps that it was both kind of like our first big, you know, set experiences, and we were both together in it. It felt like a real kind of like nice little bromance to go through the whole experience with, which was yeah, it was cool. I remember we shot that scene. We were supposed to shoot it one day, and then we didn't get around to it, so we shot it the next day. But then it kind of sprung up. They sprung it on us. They were like, "Okay, we're just gonna shoot that scene quickly," and we were like, "Okay," and we were like, "All right, you ready? Yeah, we're gonna do this." And we shot it in like it felt like half an hour. It felt like maybe it was like an hour and a half, but like it was so quick, and it was done. But it didn't feel. I don't think we were nervous. It didn't feel like we all had like our choices we wanted to make, and we were kind of just trying to play with the different camera angles and stuff, and yeah, it was good fun. So the nerves weren't not bad, actually, not bad at all. And especially when you're essentially just acting with a friend, it goes away, because you're just like, hey, we're doing this together, you know, it's you and me, and we don't have to worry about anything else. And yeah, it was cool calling Henry out though, and being like, go on then, tell us. That was fun. He's so sweet though.
So what do you feel has shaped your career thus far the most out of what you've done? Or do you feel like you've taken away, I guess maybe even like a good learning experience?
What has shaped my career so far? Yes. So I literally just wrote down some voices. Those two words for me, like, I will explain, but those two words for me just take me back to that whole experience. This was the first play we did in third year at drama school. So it's the first play we do, like, we were split up, so we weren't as a whole ensemble. This was half the year. But it's the first public performance. You get to invite family, you get to invite people who don't go to the school and stuff. And so it was a play called Some Voices by Joe Penhall. You might know him, actually. He writes Mindhunter, which is like, I think it's bigger in the States than it is. It's quite big here as well, actually. It's like this crime series, basically. But he wrote that, and so he wrote this play called Some Voices, which is about it's set in the 90s in London, and it's about a boy called Ray. So I played Ray, and he's schizophrenic, and he's basically coming back from like a psychiatric ward, like an institution, and he's being brought back to live with his brother Pete in London. And it was basically because it's the 70s. Oh my God, I can't remember now. Anyway, it was when there was, it is the 70s, I think, because it's when Margaret Thatcher was in power. That was the 70s, right? I think.
Are you sure you don't have kids? Because you sound like us. Wait, hold on. Who's this?
I'm so bad with like dates and stuff. Like my memories are. But so it was basically, she introduced this Care in the Community program where you could take your relative out of special care and take care of them yourself. And the problem is that a lot of people were just not, like, they had to work and they weren't able to give their relatives who needed help the time they required. And I think that's what this play was kind of about and showcased, was like what happens if people who need help don't have the help they need and stuff. And it was just this, anyway, the play was just incredible. And so the reason I think this play like shaped my career is I feel like I'm still chasing the experience I had doing that, playing Ray with that cast, with that director. The director was Harry Burton. The cast was Harry Lorty, who played my brother Pete, Alex, oh, his name's different now, he's a stage name, Alexander Elliott, who played oh my god, what's the character's name? Dave, this Irish guy called Dave. We're all in the same year. Scarlett Saunders played oh god, I can't remember the name. And then James Hamer played this guy who was in the institution with me called Ives. And that's how we go. Yeah. Anyway, like that whole experience was like, I think when you see like films, you watch a film or you watch a piece of theater and you're just like, and you're like, oh my god, it's perfect. Like everything just comes together. I realized after doing that, and after now having worked for a few years, how rare that is, when everything pieces together perfectly and you like, it just feels like music, you know. It's like an orchestra playing perfectly in synchro, and like the set was incredible. It just worked for us, and like our relationships, I think it also helps having been friends for like 3 years and then doing a play together. But like our relationships off stage just made our characters just burn, and the director was incredible, and he brought in people, friends of his, to speak to us. He has a friend who is schizophrenic, and he came to speak with us and explain like what it's like living with schizophrenia. And so Alex played a drunk, and so we had someone come in and speak who had suffered with like alcoholism, and just he helped us build the world. Like it's, I don't know. I think so. I think that play has made me realize that that's what you want from a like a filming experience, or like a theater experience, and it's to keep kind of chasing that, you know, where everything just goes, oh my god, this is, and everything just feels so easy, and yeah. So that, I think that is definitely.
Well, I'm just glad you didn't say killing Father Bianca.
No.
So was there anything that, since we're coming towards the end of the podcast, is there anything that we didn't ask you that you were like, darn it, I wrote an answer down for that because that was a good question? Because we'll ask you about your 3 words in just a minute, but I wasn't sure if there was anything else that you wanted to.
Let me have a look. There's one I really liked, actually. There was there was one I wanted to talk about, which I thought was kind of interesting, actually. It was, what was your harshest rejection or worst audition?
Oh yeah, we love hearing these.
And I think like this was a big learning moment for me. And I went to do an audition for a short film I was in called Ernie, and it was part of an anthology of short films called The Uncertain Kingdom. And it was like 20 films showcasing, giving a like each director's view of the UK today, kind of. Anyway, and so when I went in to the audition for this, it was just a short film, like a short indie film, and I loved that, and I'd been wanting to do something like that because I'd heard like Joe Milson told me that is where you find the most freedom as an actor, and like that's where you can really have the most fun, is it like on independent films and stuff, because it feels like everyone's input is so, especially when you're starting out and your career is still young, that's where you feel like everyone can have the most input and your input is really heard, you know. And like producers have less involvement, it feels like, in it, you know. Anyway, and so I was super excited about this audition, and I was playing, it was to play a Romanian rent boy called Jamie, and he works at this like brothel in East London, I think, and the main character basically comes to visit me as his like escape, you know, from, he has like a wartime father who's like, he's kind of under his shadow and so much pressure, and so he comes to see me, and we basically just talk for ages, and then there's some sexual pleasure at the end and stuff, but like anyway, so when I went for the audition for that, I was like, okay, part of me was like, okay, I have to go in character for this one. I was like, and so I was like, and I knew it. I just had a feeling. I was like, yep, this has to happen. I can't just go and be like, hi, I'm Ossian, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. You know, I was like, I'm going in as Jamie. And so I had these like, I had these horrible like white jeans that I'd got off eBay or something, and I cut them into booty shorts. And I had cowboy boots, and I threw those on, and I had like a t-shirt that I tied into a crop, and I took a tote with me, and I just went.
You went
as Jamie. Yeah, and I walked. So I took the tube in my costume. I walked through Piccadilly Circus. This was at Spotlight, HQ, I guess. I don't know. Is it, or Equity HQ? Something like that. And so I walked through Piccadilly Circus, you know, with my strut, my walk, and my idea, or Jamie. And then I walked in and I signed in. I said, hi, I'm Ossian, I'm here to audition for this. And then I went and sat down, and I stayed in character, and I was like, and then and also I had a friend, Marius, who is Romanian, and so I had him record all the lines for me, so I could do as close an accent as I could, you know. And I sat down in the waiting room, and there was somebody I recognized. I was like, oh my god, don't let them see you, because then you're gonna want to break character. And anyway, and then I went in, and he was like, hey, you're Ossian? I was like, and I went straight to like where the camera was set up, and I was like, is it okay? And he was like, oh, okay, right, yeah, I love it, great. And Ray Panthaki was the director on it, and he was so enthusiastic that I was like straight in character, and I was like, yeah, is he okay? Okay. And he was like, oh, great, yeah, love it, okay, cool, okay, yeah, whenever you're ready, mate. And he was like, and he's gonna do the dancing scene with you. So, and I had like, it was the first time as well in an audition where I had a partner to do the scene with, and so we had this little dance moment, and he like tries to kiss me, and I was like, no kissing, and then it ended, and he was like, wow, cool, great. And he was like, so what do you normally sound like? And I was like, oh, I sound like this. And he was like, oh, cool, wow, cool, yeah. And he was so enthusiastic about having walked in character and just kind of committed to this from the start. Now here's where the worst audition I've ever done came in. Next time I thought, ooh, I'll try that again. And I had an audition to play some like he was like this closeted guy who was in like secretly seeing this boy, but his parents didn't know, and his father had just died. I don't know, something. So I was like, okay, I'll go in character again for this one. This will be cool. And I got in, and I was kind of like doing my thing, you know, already like kind of acting as soon as I went in. But what I realized, I didn't realize it wouldn't work. But it was with Alex, who cast me in Last Kingdom, Alex Irwin. And so she knows me. I'd already taped with her. She knows what I'm like in person. Whereas Ray had never seen me before, you know, and neither had the casting director. So I thought it's perfect to Whereas this time I went in and I was like, my mind, I was like, she knows I'm being in character right now. And then the director was like, oh, I saw you did Witcher and stuff. And he was just really like chatty and really nice and asking nice questions. And I was like, yeah, it was cool, yeah. And like trying to, it was, oh my God, it was such a car crash. I was like trying to maintain my like character while also trying to like not be rude and not have conversation. And it felt like such a halfway house that the performance, I think, ended up being like, anyway, I think Alex emailed my agent, because my agent is Greg Hurst, and he phoned me. He was like, hey, can we chat later? I was like, yeah. He phoned me. He was like, how did those auditions go? And I was like, oh, yeah, it went good. It was all right, I think. And he was like, I have some not good news. And he was like, Alex said you were weird. And I was like, oh, really? Why? I knew fully well why. But that was kind of my moment where I was like, oh, it works. You have to know when know
your audience, I guess.
Know your audience and know when you can pull it off and when you can't, and like yeah.
Did you write Alex and be like, I was in character, I'm sorry, I'm not? I mean,
I sent her a message on Instagram, and I was like, I should have just emailed her. I sent her a message on Instagram. I was like, hey, I wish we'd had time to chat more. It felt like it went so quickly. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? I feel like I just burned that bridge. So if you see this, Alex, I was in character. But yeah,
just shoot her an email. Just be like,
shoot her an email.
yeah.
I'm like, I was like, Greg, hey, I was like, they don't blacklist people, do they? That's not a thing, right? And he was like, no, they don't do that.
Meanwhile, he's like, yes, they do.
Yes, they do. That was a bad
maybe
audition.
sometimes. You're fine. Okay.
Yeah. So but yeah, so like it can work, but I think it's just
know your audience.
Yeah.
And maybe that would be your one piece of advice for actors: know your audience.
Definitely. My flatmate's been doing some workshops and stuff and like meeting different casting directors, and it's interesting to hear that they all have different opinions on what they like in the room. And like I was saying, some people are happy for you to have script and some people aren't, and it's interesting so good to maybe like, it's hard to ask, but like it's nice to have a list of like, oh, they seem to like that. Good to have a list of like what casting directors like what kind of style, you know, and also it's down to like and see like what they've cast and stuff in the past, and know what genre you're going into audition for. And I don't know, but yes, that would be, I guess, my advice. Like,
so what would your 3 words be that describe your career path so far? And they don't have to go together. They can be like 3 separate words.
Okay. Young, it's still like in its infancy. I've only been doing this for like professionally for like 3 years now, maybe. So it still feels like I'm figuring things out, and you know, and like learning things when I'm filming, and like especially season 5, I went back being like, oh, let's try some technical things and just see if that lands. So I guess I'll see on the 9th of March if what I was trying worked. But like it's also like, not to think of it as like the be all and end all, like it is a process. And so my second word would maybe be diverse, because I feel like I feel super lucky, and I want this to continue. I feel super lucky that all my roles have been like not me, like they are quite different characters. Like the first role I played he was a psychopath in this like sanctuary up in the mountains, and then I did this like farm boy for Grantchester, this farm boy who who was sleeping with the farmer's daughter and stuff, and then I had the football player first team, and then Whitgar, so different again, and then Jamie, like playing a prostitute. Like, I feel really lucky to have had a diverse roles like that, because I feel like it's rare when you're starting out not to be typecast. And like, I want that to continue, you know. If it means my roles are a little more spread apart, then that's okay. But I do like having a range of like different things to explore and stuff. It's nice. And then my third word is probably just like French. Most of the stuff I go up for is like French accents. I think I didn't really want it to be my USP, but it is my USP. And I think I learned to run with that in the last couple of years and just be like, okay, I'm getting a lot of auditions for French characters, so run with it and make sure my French accent is good, and keep trying to like practice my French. And yeah, so those are my 3 words, I guess.
So where can our listeners find you on social media? I guess to be the most common.
Yeah. So Instagram, just at Ossian Perret. And then I don't really use Twitter, but I'm there. But I never I just repost like Last Kingdom stuff. Like, but it's the same. It's just at Ossian Perret.
Or according to Ashley, Tweeter. She's like, "Do you guys have
Tweeter?"
I'm like, "I'm sorry, Twitter."
I don't use it either. I think I've like only reposted things. I don't understand it and I don't get it. But yeah.
Well, we obviously know you've got season 5 coming out for the Last Kingdom on March 9th.
Yeah.
So we're gonna hold you to doing a second part interview with us when that is out and about, so we can see if
sounds good.
you piss us off again in season 4. You can redeem yourself.
We'll see.
Oh, I feel like we're not going to redeem ourselves.
I know. Is there anything else that you're working on right now or that you have coming out in addition to okay?
Yes, I got the date wrong for it when I posted it on Instagram. The Little Prince, the audiobook, is actually coming out at the end of March. I thought it was coming out on the 17th of February, but that was the book, and the audiobook is coming out end of March.
Okay, and so, who can you listen to the book through? Like, is it through like
Audible?
Audible? Okay.
It's going to be on Audible. It's the I think Theo Cuff is the translator. It'll be the most recent one, but yeah, that was my first audiobook, so that was super nice to record. And I hadn't really read The Little Prince. I read it ages ago, and so to read it again, I was like, oh my god, it's such a good book.
Yeah.
Like, I feel super, like, I felt super nervous to be recording it because so many people adore the book, but also I feel super special to have been able to record that. So that's coming out end of March. And then well, me and my flatmate are trying to write some short films, and we're like studying film structure and just learning about that. And so we're going to try to produce our own stuff, which is like also another piece of advice, like go make your own films and like make your own stuff, because you can. Like Tangerine was shot entirely on iPhone, and it's incredible and it looks great, and the cameras now shoot 4K, so
yeah, we hear that a lot as advice, is create your own content.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, thank you, and we want to be respectful of your time. We could ask like a ton more questions, but
I know. But yes, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. Hopefully, we weren't like hounding you, like being like, "Hey, hi."
No, not at all. I could talk forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, but thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we'll definitely, like we said, have you back on so we can kind of like, you know, dig into your character a little bit more about what you do in season 5. So
yeah,